Hello, everyone. Uh, a big reason a lot of people may not think that virtual reality appeals to them is if you're an introvert, for example, just to see the level of social interaction in VR, if you've seen a stream or something like that, will look like that may not be your cup of tea. And but actually, you might be surprised. The thing is, like, I've taken personality tests, and I definitely test as an introvert, and the test results is pretty impressive how well they seem to classify. But of course, those test results are a result of me answering questions. So, they form links between your answers and the conclusions that they reach. So, while I found the end results and the more detailed information about the personality type to be largely uh, applicable to who I actually was, I didn't have a sense that it was identifying like the core me. I felt like it was identifying who I was, all things considered, and that's VRChat and VR in general is a great place to discover some of that. And the thing is I do find social situations somewhat exhausting, and they're not my first idea of what I want to go do under normal circumstances. But that's because, in the context of it, there's so much that's fake about the way people behave in different environments, whether it's a church, whether it's a club scene, or whatever. And I would like to think and hope that a part of my opinion on that is jaded by my unfortunate scenarios, and that perhaps other people find a much more genuine group of people to associate with or to interact with most of the time. But unfortunately, I can't shake that paradigm in real life. It just no, I've given it many chances. So that takes away from any idea of that I have of wanting to do that. Like if I'm going to be in a situation where there's any kind of pressure to be fake, or if there's any kind of awkwardness because I refuse to be fake or anything like that, I would rather leave it alone. And I don't want to see other people. I'm not impressed by the games that people play. So if they play the game well and they're succeeding well, I'm not impressed, and I'm not trying to be that person. So there's nothing there to really appeal to me. But you get into VR, and almost everything that motivates that kind of behavior in real life doesn't apply. Like perhaps you have some people in here that are exaggerating themselves to some degree to have some fun or whatever, but they're doing it for fun. But what doesn't pay off in virtual reality is flattery. I mean, you can compliment somebody's avatar. They usually do. They're like, especially customized avatars and things like that. That's like, oh, that's cool and everything. But you don't get anywhere by flattering somebody as though you were flattering them. It's hopefully that's people can kind of see where I'm going with that. And then just other dramas like this is disconnected also from your real day to day life. So there's no benefits, no lasting benefits to gain for a lot of the reasons that people try to be somebody they're not in real life. There's nothing lasting to gain by flattering somebody in real life that there might be, or in VR you would not get anything for flattering somebody that you might get in real life. It's hard to come up with examples. I'm not sure exactly why people do that, but let's say you're out and you're at a club environment with a coworker that happens to be um, higher in authority than you or whatever, and being in good with them gives you a real shot of having a leg up to get that position yourself or whatever. And so there's things like that that motivate additional levels of flattery and all of that. But you get into virtual reality, and while I'm not going to say there can't be exceptions, in general, there's no incentive to be anyone but yourself. as best as you know how to be yourself, and you might discover that who yourself is different than you thought it was, because you're free to just be yourself. And you may discover things that you thought you couldn't stand in people, that once you get in here and it's like really just simply fun and not fake or exaggerated or anything like that. Maybe when you don't know somebody's true self behind the scenes or whatever. I just, in my opinion, in my beliefs, people in VR are just much more authentic in general, because they have no reason not to be. And if they're anything other than authentic, they're doing what they're doing for fun, to enhance the fun. Like, there's nothing gained by being toxic fake. If you're putting on a smile that you wouldn't have, or if you're just being, there's absolutely nothing wrong. It's not even fake, really, to be more crazy in VR than you would be in person. You're definitely not going to have some reservations that you'd have in real life. But I mean, I'm not talking about if somebody's coming in here and claiming that they have more clout in real life than they really have. For the most part, no one cares in VR anything about, we're not really, not that I've encountered, I've never encountered anybody that's actually like in VR to flex their, what they have in reality. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I don't see that happening. I mean, people talk about the tech they're using, their gaming PCs, they'll talk about what they do and all of that, and maybe sometimes something does come up and they do have something that's something to be kind of proud of or whatever. But in general, this is not the place to be if your idea of feeling important is based on flexing something. So while I'm actually an introvert in real life, it's not an introvert as in not caring about other people. It's not an introvert because I don't want to interact with other people. It's simply I don't have time, or I don't have an interest in the games. I'd rather be alone than playing games. I'm not going to flatter anybody, no matter how clearly I can see the payoff on the other side. And that, a lot of the people that I struggle with in real life are toxic, and that's their go-to. I mean, you can see it. There's some people central to a gossip circle or whatever, and you can tell, like, if you'll pay your flattery dues, you get your chance to be in and out of that if you want to be or whatever. But if you won't play along, then you are the target. You're the safe target for everybody in the gossip circle to target you and single you out. And if they get something on you or whatever, and it's just toxic, toxic, toxic. And I'd rather be the toxic target that's not present than to be the person playing along with that. That is not my cup of tea in any shape or form. But I come into VRChat and I'm a conversation starter. Uh, if I got, I could go to Public Worlds, and it's not every time I could jump in the game, jump into Public World, and end up having a great time. But it's not uncommon for me to come in and not even look at my friends list and just come in and join a public world and have a great time before the night's out with new friends, new strangers. And the thing is, I like it when it's fun to be somebody that helps somebody else discover what the game can be about, because there are people that come into this game and for a long time they don't find anything really fantastic about it. And there's an initial wow factor for people having VR, and there's kids and everybody getting quests, and they come in here and they do the stuff you'd kind of expect somebody to do that feels anonymous in a sandbox social environment that has yet to discover the real purpose and meaning and potential. They're going to come in, they're going to be annoying, they're going to be very immature. You give them a pen they can draw with, it's going to be a penis and balls, almost guaranteed. All of those things happen, and they're definitely not everybody's idea of a great time. They're definitely not captivating, but that's not everybody in the game. There's definitely a better level to get to. And so it's fun to be somebody that's actually capable of helping people find that. And the sooner they find it, the better. And, helping them realize that they can friend people, and then realize that understand why there's friends plus worlds, and private options and things like that. And that's where the people that really enjoy this game end up spending most of their time, because that's where you can get into predictable settings of real meaningful social experiences, whether that meaning for the night is to just have a good time, or whether that meaning is to have a deep conversation. You can get away from the childish stuff you're likely to see at some of the first entry-level worlds you'll encounter, um, and consistently get to a place where the game is much more meaningful. And so I'm tying that back to like the introverted, because if you've seen some of this and I know, again, as I've said before, when I discovered this game, what really got me interested in trying it was the reviews. It got my attention when I found out it was life-changing for people. But the trailer, while it looked kind of fun, it did not seem to have my name written on it whatsoever. I wasn't into anime. I wasn't a gamer in any kind of traditional sense. I played a game called Aces High, and that was more about my interest in World War II air combat than it was any kind of true competitive sense. So I did try to play competitively, but it wasn't the gamer mentality. It wasn't a game of many. Um, but it was enough. It was enough of an interest that thankfully I wanted to play that game well enough that while I didn't have to have the top-end PC, I ended up with a VR-capable PC, which really helped create my opportunity to discover this. For me to discover VR was literally a $350 investment. It wasn't any further out there than that, because I happened to have a PC that could run it when I discovered a need. And for me, it was also kind of a lucky discovery, because it was the chance for some eye therapy that motivated me to get it. I had no idea, I was aware, like through Aces High, that some people had it for Aces High, and it seemed to be an advantage for them, and it seemed cool. But it wasn't, people in Aces High, they weren't really discussing VR as a whole, and so the impression I was stuck with was that the headsets were still costing about $800 or so, and I only saw it as a peripheral for, so it wasn't really captivating. But I didn't have enough information to be too terribly interested. So as much as some people know about VR and desperately have wanted it for a while, I was very fortunate to just kind of discover it almost by accident. But for those who do want it and those who don't want it, both of you, I can tell you that it's definitely worth looking into and checking out. And so if you're inverted, or inverted. If you're inverted, you got bigger problems. See a doctor, but whatever that means. But if you're introverted and you think and social experiences tend to exhaust you, chances are you still discovered that you do interact with people online, probably through forums, message boards, or whatever, and you're more than likely still very much into a meaningful conversation, or even probably enjoy some debates to a degree and stuff like that. You'll find more than likely that this is going to be your cup of tea. So this is definitely a good medium and place for introverts to check out. And you may not be half the introvert you think you are once you acclimate and adjust to the environment that virtual reality creates. So anyways, I'm Digital Sticks, and thank you for watching, and hopefully this helps somebody discover something useful about this technology. Like I said, I don't foresee having a whole lot on the device to buy front anytime again soon. But if you have become interested in VR, you can check out some of my other content where I do discuss my opinions on devices that you can buy for this game. But with that, I'm out for now, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.